So guys, I'm a little late to the game with this watch. It's been around for 2, maybe 3 years now. And this is the SRPA21, also known as the Seiko Special Edition Padi Turtle, which I think is way better than an SKX. But that's just my opinion. If you can't tell, I have a thing for Padi watches. Used to also have an SBDY017, which was the 62 MAS Padi reissue. Got rid of it though because the alignment on the chapter ring was just god awful. I've been a Padi diver now for close to 15 years, even though I've never really gone beyond an open water diver. I never needed to. If you didn't know what Padi stands for, it stands for the Professional Association of Dive Instructors, for which I am not an instructor at least. Neither are most Padi divers. But that's okay though, because, you know, as long as we get to stick our faces in the water, we're leagues ahead of those desk divers, right? Now, look, I've been looking for one of these things for a long time now. Not because I couldn't find one, because these things are everywhere, despite them being a special edition. It's really because I couldn't find one with a perfectly aligned chapter ring and bezel. And you see, because of the color patterning on this watch with the red accents everywhere, a misaligned chapter ring, bezel, and dial really throws off the aesthetics of this thing. Now, if you're not into turtles, you should be, because I like turtles. Now, these watches are relatively inexpensive, but they're practical, tough, yet gorgeous. But I get it, and the design isn't for everyone. It's fluffy, kind of bulbous, and large. But it wears quite small because of its unique design right here. And the case is 40 millimeters across right here, but it looks disembodied from the bezel, lending the bezel's width to the illusion that the watch is much smaller than it is. The short lugs here also help. You know, it comes in just above 47 millimeters lug to lug. Now I have about a 7-inch wrist, depending on how fat or skinny I am during the year. And I think I wear it okay. It's not that bad on my wrist. You know, it might look larger here on the video, but it doesn't overhang my wrist, and it's not too cumbersome once you wear it for a while. And besides, I'm used to wearing G-Shocks anyway, so the turtles, they're kind of a small watch on my wrist, or at least what I'm used to seeing. Now, I always wanted to have a Pepsi watch, but a lot of them come with black dials. And this one is blue. It's a really nice, I guess you call it a sunburst metallic blue kind of color. And with the blue, red, and white color scheme it's got going on here, it's a legit Pepsi pattern watch. Now, like all Seiko Padi editions, I think this watch has one of its hands outlined in red right here, which gives it a nice accent in the overall scheme of how the watch face looks. The crystal is made of hard legs, and the bezel insert is aluminum. Pretty standard for a pre-2019-2020 Seiko diver. Of course, the only 2019 Seiko diver in this class that had sapphire and a ceramic bezel insert were the King Turtles. Now in 2020, they added these 2 new features to the Samurai line, which might give it a little bit more love. Now, they haven't come out yet, and I don't know if they're going to come out in time because of all this COVID-19 issue that's going on. But eventually, the Samurai will also have the sapphire and ceramic bezel insert. Now, back to this watch. It has a 4R something movement, so you can actually hack and hand wind the time. These features are great for convenience. Now, it has an unsigned screw down crown. I don't think most divers really care if it's signed or not, and it's got a screw in case back. The watch is rated for 200 meters, which is plenty for both recreational and most commercial dives. The case has drilled lugs, got these little holes right here, which makes changing straps easy and painless. If you want to dive, you can throw on a rubber strap or keep the stock bracelet attached here. Or if you want to go for something more casual, you can throw on a leather or NATO strap. Now, the stock bracelet is actually pretty nice. It's kind of like an oyster, but it has these polished bits right here that outlines the outer links. It took me a while to actually warm up to the polish parts, but I actually like it now. Our bracelet here has solid end links. You can't see it because I don't have it off, but that's kind of unusual for Seiko bracelets, except for on the turtles. And it's got this usual stamp class right here. I don't think it feels too cheap, and I haven't found a need to buy a different stainless bracelet for this watch. Maybe a Jubilee one day, but unless if I have to spend extra money on this watch, I don't think I'm going to. And other than resizing this watch was perfect the way it came. And like all Seiko divers, this watch is a lume monster. Let me charge it up a little bit to show you, see if I can get it to work. There's my phone in the way. And let's turn out the lights. There we go. Well, yeah, the only thing I wish this watch had was dual lume in some of the other Padi editions where part of the lume is green and the other part is blue. Otherwise, this watch should be in every collector's box, especially since you can get one of these brand new for under 300 bucks. I actually bought mine from Macy's for $270, which for the most part is a lot cheaper than most SKXs that you can find today. Now, if you're one of those one watch kind of guys, this watch could really be the one for you too, right? Sure, it's got a hardlex crystal on it and a bezel insert that could get scratched relatively easy, but mod parts for these turtles are pretty widely available, kind of like the SKX. So when you scratch it, you can just upgrade your watch with sapphire and a ceramic bezel for around 100 bucks. And quite frankly, there's no reason to upgrade unless you scratch these things anyways, right? Now, on a final note, whether you agree with me or not, I think these watches should always be purchased brand new, or at least from a reputable seller if you're buying used, because they're relatively inexpensive costs. I mean, for the most part, you can get these things for under 350 bucks new. Under 300 bucks if you get really lucky, right? You see, even though these things only go for 200 to 400 bucks, if you even see them for 400 bucks anymore, counterfeits of these watches can be had for under 100 bucks. I think I saw one for about 60 bucks on a Chinese retailer the other day. And to the untrained eye, they look pretty legit. But they're not the same thing. It's not a real Seiko. And we all know that there are people in this world who wouldn't have a problem passing a fake as being the real thing on the secondhand market. So if you're not getting a new one from an authorized dealer, make sure you scrutinize the used one to the very core. There are a couple of videos on YouTube that tells you how to distinguish between a real one and a fake one. So anyways, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time with a different watch, so long as we're still in quarantine.